Hello everybody, this is Juvenile.
And I'm Delinquent.
And we are the PIC. And this is going to be our Royal Rumble 2015 review. One of the most controversial pay-per-views, I would think, in recent memory.
Oh my god. Gosh, I don't know.
Completely disappointed with most of the things. We're just going to break down every single match, what we thought about it, and basically we're going to give our opinions about the very controversial ending that everybody's upset with.
Yeah, it was this. We'll get to that towards at the end of the match card, but we're going to start it off with the pre-show. We had Cesaro and Tyson Kidd versus New Day members Kofi Kingston and Big E.
This match, basically a normal tag team match. Nothing special happened here that I can remember off the top of my head.
It was accompanied by Xavier Woods and Adam Rose. Not a fan of Adam Rose. It was just pretty much cut and dry. TJ and Cesaro pick up the win over New Day.
Which is what it should have happened. New Day been picking up wins over Raw and stuff like that, so it kind of just evens out their feud, and hopefully it'll just kind of put away with it.
And then everybody's excitement's build up. Royal Rumble starts out with the Ascension versus the New Age Outlaws. I was pulling for the New Age Outlaws. That's not how things went.
Well, I pretty much I felt that Ascension was going to win this one because it makes more sense to put them over. We're not the biggest fans of the Ascension. They are obviously a ripoff of the Road Warriors,
Yep.
Legion of Doom, definitely, and again another normal tag team match with nothing special that happened here, and the Ascension picks up the victory, and that's pretty much it for that one.
And then, we thought maybe things are going to pick up, and then they do. The Usos taking on Miz and Mizdow. Pretty good match. There's one point in the match where I can't really tell them apart, but first Uso goes over the top rope and lands on, I think it was
I don't know which
Mizdow.
one it was. Maybe
and then the other Uso goes over the top rope, botches the move a little bit, lands flat on his back on the ground, which was pretty rough, but still the Usos picked up the win over the Miz and Mizdow.
And at this point, we kind of figured that there was going to be a lot of tension between Damien and Miz. Miz still not letting Damien get into the match, and we had talked about it in our other video. We pretty sure that Damien and Miz were going to have problems throughout the Royal Rumble, and we'll get to that whenever we get to that match. But either way, the Usos retained the tag team championships.
And then what I perceived to be the match of the night. At first, I thought it was going to be the Royal Rumble, and we'll explain why we didn't think the Royal Rumble. Oh, my bad. The Bellas versus Paige and Natalya. You can understand why I left that out.
Kind of skipped over that one. No, it was, for Divas, the Bellas are picking up. They're doing a lot better than usual. They're actually not the worst in-ring competitors in the world, and, Natty and Paige are also solid. Basically, the Bellas get the win over a weird win though. Just with like an elbow to the face to Natty.
Yeah, and it's kind of like Brie is trying.
Speaking of Paige,
yeah, Brie is trying too hard to be a heel, and it's not working.
She's not the best actor,
Mm-hmm.
and the whole time Paige is over there, not even grabbing the tag rope, trying to tag, and she's my favorite, but it was all right. The Bellas pick up the win. That's all we have to say about that. Continue with what you were saying about the main event.
The main event, to me, it was the match I perceived to be the best match of the night. I thought it would be the Royal Rumble, and we'll explain why we didn't think it was the Royal Rumble. But the main event for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, Brock Lesnar, John Cena, Seth Rollins, the most epic championship match I've seen in a really long time.
It was great. It was one of the kind of like I told you during the show, it's one of those matches that bring prestige back to the title.
Yep.
You three guys really going at it. And to me, I was impressed with Seth Rollins, man.
I was. At first, the match was a little rough. I thought it was going to be slow because of Brock Lesnar. He was on top the majority of the beginning of the match. But I'll have to admit, there towards the end of the match, Brock actually, I felt like evolved a little bit more back to his old wrestling days and was able to put on a better match. But Seth Rollins was really the highlight, and I think John really complimented Rollins in tonight's matchup.
He did. All three guys had outstanding moments. John Cena ended up giving 3 attitude adjustments in a row to Brock Lesnar. Yep. Lesnar went through 4 attitude adjustments, a curb stomp, got thrown through the barricade, thrown into the stairs, and put through an announce table in that match right in a row, and still ends up getting up and picking up the win. Rollins hits a crazy, like a 450 corkscrew splash, something like that, and that was amazing.
At first, I thought Brock was out. He went through that announce table, and he was out there a good solid 10, 15 minutes of the match, Brock was just out of it. It was just John and Rollins going at it, really keeping the match alive, going at it. And then he hits that crazy move or whatever, and then here comes Brock, and then 5 minutes later, the match is over, and Brock Lesnar retains.
And like you said, though, best match of the night. We thought that this was going to... The Royal Rumble was my favorite match of the year. And almost nothing is more exciting than surprise entrance and the crazy things that can happen during it. But this match killed the Royal Rumble this year through disappointment and through lack of creativity throughout the whole entire thing. And that's what we're going to get into now. The 30-man over-the-top rope Royal Rumble match. The winner going to WrestleMania 31 in the main event.
Yes. And you pointed out earlier you was reading about how The Miz, Dolph Ziggler, and then CM Punk have consecutively started at number 1. Miz tonight started at number 1, along with R-Truth at number 2. I don't know. At that point when that happened, I was a little bit like, why are these two starting the Rumble? How are we going to get entertained? And the entertainment actually came at number 3?
Number 3.
Which was a surprise entrant.
It really kicked it off right.
Yeah.
Bubba Ray Dudley returns to the WWE after being with TNA for years now, and honestly, my highlight of the whole damn thing. Yep. The Bubba Ray Dudley was a huge pop. He added that excitement. When they got into the ring, R-Truth played the part of Devon. They tried to make him go through tables and whatnot. It didn't happen that way. Yeah. No tables ended up being used. Either way, it was still an awesome build-up with Bubba Ray Dudley. And then Luke Harper and Bray were the next two. And that also, they complemented Bubba so well. Similar styles between Bray and Bubba. And that's when we moved on to Bray dominating.
Yeah, pretty much. Curtis Axel was supposed to be the next entrant. He was on his way to the ring. He was attacked from behind by Eric Rowan. Eric Rowan went into the ring, which was later thrown out by Bray and Luke Harper, I believe.
Yeah, the Wyatt family, all three were in there at the same time, and it was cool seeing all those guys working together again. But it wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be. Bray ends up being the man standing at the end of it.
Yeah, he throws them all out, and then we had another surprise entrant. It kind of threw me off a little bit, but I guess we seen him not too long ago when he was at WWE headquarters around Halloween. But the Boogeyman made an appearance.
The Boogeyman. It's been a while, since 2008 or 7 since he had wrestled. But the thing about surprise entrants that I don't care for is that they just go in and get thrown out. Yeah. At least Bubba made 2 eliminations within the Miz and R-Truth. Boogeyman slides in, gets clotheslined one time, and gets thrown out by Bray Wyatt.
Yeah, and then the next one, just a quick one. Sin Cara came in, hit a move. He was tossed out of the ring. Then he was followed up by another returning superstar, which is going to be Zack Ryder, and the fans popped.
He did. Zack Ryder getting a pop. He's pretty big within the internet wrestling community, and Zack Ryder comes out to a big pop. He returns from injury and faces the same fate as Sin Cara, and the Boogeyman just got fed to Bray Wyatt immediately and thrown out of the ring pretty much.
And then the next superstar that comes in also happens to be one of the biggest stars, I would say, in the WWE today, but also with this Royal Rumble is surrounded by a lot of controversy because of his elimination, and that man is the man behind the Yes Movement, Mr. Daniel Bryan.
And Daniel's one of the top 2 guys everyone had picked for this Royal Rumble win. I'd chosen to win myself, and the fashion of what he went in there, he did good and everything. I think he got 1 elimination or something like that throughout the Rumble, but I don't know exactly when he got eliminated, but in general, what ends up happening is Daniel Bryan, before things even get started in the Rumble, before he even gets to the second half of it.
Yeah, I believe he was eliminated before Roman Reigns actually came out.
He was eliminated before Roman Reigns, and that Roman Reigns was what number?
It could have been Rusev area when he got eliminated.
Yeah, and Daniel, that's what made the fans, the first big boo of this match was when Daniel Bryan ends up getting eliminated by Bray Wyatt. I don't know if that's going to be something that sparks something to lead anywhere in the future or what, but it was a very disappointing thing to see Daniel out of this match so early. It just made no sense to me, and that's one of the main reasons I was disappointed. I'm not the biggest fan of Daniel Bryan, but I understand that he has to do better than what they're giving him because of the fan reaction that he gets, and I don't understand it.
And we'll also explain a little bit more on the controversy behind the Daniel Bryan being eliminated out of the Royal Rumble in our video we're going to put up right after this one. But Then the next couple superstars I'm going to go through pretty quick because they're not really that important. Fandango, TJ, Tyson Kidd, and Stardust, they all came out. Did a little bit of stuff. Stardust was in there for, I know, long enough for Goldust to come in.
Yeah.
But after they were in there, another surprise entrant really actually pissed me off when he came in. And the only reason I say that is because I don't like when the old stars come back. You know they're not going to win and they can't really wrestle. But the next guy that came in was Diamond Dallas Page.
DDP. And, it was lackluster. I like Boogeyman being in it more than DDP. I have no problem with DDP, but like he said, the older stars, in which we know the Boogeyman and Bubba Ray wasn't going to win either, but they still can mesh with the superstars of today, while DDP is an old dude. I mean, he's doing yoga, he's in shape or whatever, but he's an older dude, and we just knew he wasn't going to do anything.
But also, if you're going to come out and you're going to come out to wrestle, come out in wrestling attire. Don't come out in a t-shirt promoting your yoga, a pair of blue jeans with wrestling boots with your pants tucked in. It doesn't work. But right after him, then we had Rusev and Goldust, Kofi Kingston, another one that really aggravated me. Adam Rose was actually in the Royal Rumble. And then another superstar, which we'll talk about the controversy later, but there's controversy surrounding him, and that is, of course, Roman Reigns.
Roman Reigns, the key to all this, and like we said, there's going to be a video right after this explaining the controversial part of this. Right now, we're just trying to review the match or whatever. Kind of hard though, without getting a little into it, getting our emotions involved, I guess. One spot I will mention is they did do the spot, a Kofi Kingston spot as usual.
Yeah.
It was nothing compared to the usual one. He didn't do nothing athletic. He got thrown out of the ring, lands
into the party people for Adam Rose, and
they put him back into the ring, and
Adam Rose gets eliminated, and his people are actually not there to catch him, even though they caught Kofi Kingston. But it was lackluster. The whole Rumble, in reality, was lackluster. I mean, until I would say, got to Roman Reigns, there was never more than 4 superstars in the ring. Yeah, there was never, and that's what we're used to seeing in Rumbles is the stars start adding up, and at this point, Bray had ended up eliminating so many, and there wasn't a lot going on at this point. We were already more than halfway through this thing by the time Reigns enters. And then we have a few more of the normal filler entrants, which is... we had a Big E. Also, if you watched our video before, we mentioned our list of superstars because there was an actual printout of what WWE had already announced to be in the Rumble. Over half of that list wasn't even in the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, a lot of disappointment garnering around that because Randy Orton, Sheamus, Chris Jericho, Rob Van Dam, all these entrant, Bo Dallas. None of those guys were in this match, and
the Usos were supposed to be in qualified. It, and they weren't even in it.
And not to mention Diego, the Lost Matadors, and then also a surprising thing that we found out right before the Rumble. Justin Gabriel was released by the WWE, and that was something that was shocking. It wasn't shocking to me, but I didn't see it coming since he was scheduled for the Rumble apparently. But either way,
after Big E comes in, right after Roman, we had Mr. Mizdow, Damien Sandow. He comes out. Right before he gets to the ring, The Miz runs out, stops Damien Sandow, like, no, I'm going to take your spot, I'm going to go in, climbs up on the apron, and he's hit by Roman Reigns, knocks him down. Damien Sandow gets in there, hits 2 of the signature moves of The Miz's, which I guess you could say are his now, but then Damien Sandow tossed right out of the ring, and there's no more of him. And then it doesn't get any better. We get to Jack Swagger. Another downfall for me because the first thing he does is go for Rusev, and for me, I don't want to see that. Sick
of that feud. We've seen it time and time again. And we move on to one of the more bigger stars in the match that had a lot of controversy, not controversy, but a lot of storyline at least leading into this match, and that's Ryback, who failed to impress, I must say.
He hit a couple solid moves, but I mean, you could tell at this point. I mean, at this point, the superstars are starting to build back up. But after he was in there, a couple more come in, and we'll mention them in a minute. But he failed to really portray the main event type proportion of what a superstar would be. And then, of course, you could start seeing what area it was going. And then next thing you know, Ryback's tossed. But I don't believe Ryback was tossed until the actual number 30 man entered the ring.
Something like that. And then after Ryback, we have Kane and some more bigger injury. Kane, Dean Ambrose come in. Those are 2 solid guys right there, if you count Kane as a solid guy.
And I believe this next one was meant to break Santino's record. And I feel like, WWE told him, like you mentioned while we was watching it, you got one fucking job. Go out there, get in the ring, get knocked out. And he fucks it up, and that person was Titus O'Neil.
Titus O'Neil comes in, and Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose run towards him and try to clothesline him out of the ring immediately, at least tying Santino.
Yeah.
He gets caught up in the rope somehow, and these guys just end up, chunking him out and everything, and he ends up staying in 4 seconds. I don't know if that was what they were going for or not, but you could tell they were going for something like that.
You could tell it was supposed to be quick, and he botched it like no other. And then, of course, we had Bad News Barrett. He came out, really aggravates me. I can't stand, when you got a champion who disgraces the title, and the one thing he does is he comes out, holds the title up, and just throws it behind him.
Mm-hmm.
Intercontinental title, that when Ziggler had it, it was prestigious. You can't really do that with these titles these days. I mean, that's the mid-card title. If you're going to be a mid-carder your whole career, you should be thankful that you got that. But no, he throws him. Then we got Cesaro. Also was not advertised to be in it.
At this point, when at number 27 or 28, when Cesaro comes in, everything starts setting in more.
Yeah.
Right at this point, we knew there was Big Show and Ziggler left because we just looked and they had come out, and then that's when that Randy Orton and Mysterio, Sheamus, all those guys that you've been hearing about that could be in this match weren't going to be in it.
It was over with from there.
Yeah, and then we had the last 2 entrants, the Big Show and then number 30, Dolph Ziggler. And I told you during the match that I think they put Dolph Ziggler as number 30 because they wanted us to feel as if he had a chance, but normal fans, real fans, know that the number 30 spot is not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
It's just a way for maybe a younger fan or a casual fan to get really interested in that person. But
only 2 people have ever won from the number 30 spot, which was The Undertaker and John Cena.
Yeah, and at this point, Ziggler comes in, eliminates Cesaro and Bad News Barrett, and things start shaping up. And then all of a sudden, Ziggler jumps off. Gets knocked out by the Big Show.
Yeah, he gets the knockout punch from the Big Show, and literally, like a rag doll, Kane and Big Show pick Ziggler up. You're thinking at this point, oh my God, it can be saved Ziggler. They're going to switch it. He's going to win this match. It's not what happens. They pick him up like a rag doll, toss him right out of the ring, and that was the key, I think, the big key change for the fans in Philadelphia, because the rest of this match was filled with utter disgust and booing. The
whole match was showered with it. Because after they eliminate Dolph Ziggler, they do the same thing to Bray Wyatt, who came in very early in this match, and he was doing really good. They eliminate Bray Wyatt, which ends up leaving Roman and Dean versus Kane and Big Show, which ultimately leads to Dean getting the same
thrown
fate.
Out the exact same way.
At that moment, because at this point, fans are holding on to whatever they could. And I was like, okay, well, maybe Dean Ambrose, but just because I didn't want to see what was going to happen. But then when Dean gets out, that was solidifying what happened.
But first we take a step back quickly because Rusev was chokeslammed by Kane before Ziggler, I believe, ever entered the ring. So they were not doing the knockout punches, just throwing him out like ragdoll. When Rusev got chokeslammed, Rusev rolled out of the bottom rope and was laying on the on the floor. So now we have Roman Reigns, Kane, and the Big Show inside the ring. We think it's the final 3. We're holding. Well, at this point, we're like.
At this point, we're done.
The fans are going ballistic.
Booing. There was "We want refunds" chants, everything, and then Kane and Big Show end up having their own problems because it's every man for himself, and they try to choke slam each other, which leads to Roman Reigns coming up to behind them and dumping both men out. They get mad,
storm the ring, attack Roman Reigns, and then the sound that everybody expected to hear, of course. The Rock makes his appearance at the Royal Rumble, comes in, beats up the Big Show, Kane, gets them all knocked out. They help each other out. Roman thinks it's over. Rusev comes in. Roman hits him with a spear, picks him up, tosses him out, and then that just solidified the disgust and the bad taste in everybody's mouth. Roman Reigns is winner of the Royal Rumble for 2015.
Yeah, and that was the big thing that we all saw coming, but literally just didn't want to happen. And,
it was watered down and shoved down your throat.
It's been 2 years in a row that this same sort of thing happened where everybody knew who was probably going to win the Rumble, and they failed to change it. And that's what I think is the most disappointing part. They saw it coming, and they failed to do anything about it.
And I don't even blame Roman Reigns, because I feel like 2 years from now, Roman Reigns could be that top superstar in the WWE. But right now, when you're forcing him down my throat, I don't want that, and nobody else did. And then, of course, Roman Reigns is booed out of the arena practically. They botched the fireworks on him, so he stands there looking like a complete idiot, pointing at the sign a good 2 or 3 times. And fireworks never go off. Finally, he's just standing there. The fireworks go off. Then he tries to do his little hands up, but they botched that.
The whole thing, they send The Rock out to try to sugarcoat the situation. It's kind of like, you know, cutting us deep and trying to put a little Band-Aid on it. Like, you know, it'll be all right, trying to make us feel better, but still the fans, even while The Rock's raising his hand, still boo the situation.
And you could see it on The Rock's face, like all over his face, like, wow, man, I can't save you from this.
Yeah, and which leads us to the end of the Royal Rumble, and I'm going to mention one more thing. The backstage fallout from the Royal Rumble pretty much puts in stone the next feud for John Cena, and that's against Rusev.
Face-to-face in the interview area, nose-to-nose, so you can expect it now, WrestleMania 31, John Cena versus Rusev. I'm going to call it now. I'm going to think they're going to let John Cena beat him, but at the same time, you know, John Cena could take that loss without damaging his career and putting Rusev up, and they put him in the main event spot, but
the confusing area of that, which we can cover in another video whenever the feud starts coming together, is the big elephant in the room, the United States Championship. Yeah. John Cena's not going to. Why would he want that? You know. So either way, it's the Royal Rumble. From a review point, the show itself had one amazing match, and it's sad. I saw Lance Storm tweeted that don't let the bad ending ruin this what was an amazing title match. And I do understand that one match was awesome. The rest of the card, all right. You know, I wouldn't say pay-per-view standards.
No, and you know, like he said about him doing that tweet, and the sad thing is that's basically what happened. You know, the Royal Rumble was so bad that John Cena, Brock Lesnar, and Seth Rollins aren't getting the credit that they deserve for that good match that they pulled off, because the Royal Rumble was so... It literally is like Vince put his hand in the shit pile of talent, pulled all the shitty stars out, threw them in the Royal Rumble and said, do what you want. And that's what we got.
If you follow us on Twitter, we were posting throughout, and one thing I had said was the fact that I did feel slapped in the face, and you had said the same thing, simply because the fact that they did stuff on purpose, I feel like, tonight. Like the early elimination of Daniel Bryan, the straight crap elimination of Dolph Ziggler, not getting him to the Final Four, and then still letting Roman Reigns win. I mean, WWE did this, and they did it in a horrible fashion. They didn't even try to make it better by letting like Ziggler and him be the last two or something like that. They just straight up said, you know what? Bam, we're going to throw all this at you at one time. And so I would have to say, another thing we had read, what do you expect for $9.99?
Yep.
That's all I can say, man. What do you expect? And start losing faith in situations like this. I'm just hoping now that, which like I said, we're going to talk about this afterwards. This video is running super long, 23 minutes. So
our next video is going to be the controversy and everything surrounding. We're going to talk about the #1 trend on Twitter all the way. I would say it was like 4 hours after the show went off. Was hashtag cancel WWE Network, and that's what we're going to talk about in our next video. So just watch that one, and we'll cover it.
We'll start doing this. What do you what scale out of 1 to 10? What do you give the Royal Rumble tonight?
I was going to say 5 stars. I was going to say 1 star, 5 star, kind of like the old game thing.
Yeah, we'll do 5 stars out of 5 stars.
I'm gonna stay solid on because of that main event. That main event was a 5 star, so overall rating, other ones, I'm staying solid on a 1.5.
1.5. I would give it anywhere from 2 to 2.5, only because the matches were solid. That main event was awesome. Just a lackluster situation. Bubba Ray Dudley picks me up a little bit, but that's the only thing.
It could hold a solid 2, but
maybe a 2. Since you said 1.5, and I say we'll meet somewhere in the middle, somewhere like that.
2-star Royal
Rumble. So 2 out of 5, man. That's all we can give it. 2015 Royal Rumble. We're gonna wrap this one up. It's already 25 minutes long. So if you even seen this much, thank you. Yeah. Subscribe to our page. Follow us on Twitter. The links will be in the description. And join us on the next video, which is going to be discussing canceling the WWE Network.
Yes, and join us on Twitter on every live event and everything. We're live tweeting. We'd love to talk to y'all. Conversate.
Peace out.